So I was picking up that you may finally be getting to the point where you're not afraid of like fumbling something or somebody. And sort of like there's a sense of settling into the peaceful flow of some sort of process without worrying about the end goal in some way. This could have to do with like a romantic relationship because I know that applies to like a lot of people, but it's giving that like you finally accepting like, oh, this connection is healthy. Oh, this person does have good intentions for me. Like, this person is consistent. They're not love bombing me because it's been months and months and months and they still are the same. You know what I mean? It also could be like this stark realization that you genuinely like accepted the bare minimum, even in relationships that like seemed healthy. Like there even could be relationships in the past where you're like, oh, maybe I didn't treat that person the best, or like, maybe we didn't like split up for the right reasons and they were actually like a really good person, right? But just because they like were good to you to your face or whatever, and like, I don't know, just because somebody isn't abusive, right? Um, doesn't mean that that's like that's the bare minimum, right? Of course they shouldn't be, right? So it's giving that like you're like, oh, maybe I should have given that person more of a chance because they were a nice person, but like that again, that's like the floor, and you like I think that like your spirit or whatever kind of knew that you deserved more than just somebody who like is nice to you, right? Because it's like I don't know. It's one thing for someone to just be kind to you and not like hurt you, and one thing to for someone to like bring romance and true love into your life. You know what I mean? Like if you want to just like be around somebody who like is just kind to you or whatever, then that's like fine. That's like a friendship, right? So it's like you could have been in a relationship with somebody who like the spark died and maybe you left them but you like felt bad about it, but it is okay because that person was more of just like a friend to you, and there was no like romance, right? And you deserve to have like actual romance, if that makes sense, right? Like there's a difference, I think, and also you could be realizing this or not, but like there's a difference between people who just like want to be in a relationship versus people who like want to be in love. And I think that like, and I'm not going to overgeneralize, but it just seems, that a lot of people just want to be in a relationship, but they don't like want to be in love. Okay? And also it could just be a matter of like not necessarily that they don't want to be in love, but it's people could just not actually believe that that's real, or people who get in a relationship just because they're physically attracted to each other and then like they can like stand to be around each other and like have some things in common, and then they're like, oh, we're in love with each other, but they're not in love, they're just in a relationship. And I think that most people like, I don't know, have this mindset that they're running out of time, or they like, oh, all my friends have like a person, so I need to get in a relationship, or even worse, people just like want access to somebody like intimately, so they feel like they have to be in a relationship, right? Um, because I'm not gonna lie, like it does take a long time to find your actual person, um, you know, and when uh there are like a lot of false starts, and like obviously it takes some time to realize that a person that you're with isn't actually your person, because that infatuation can really be intense, and so can like limerence and all of that. But like when it's your person, you're compatible down to a T. Like you're specifically like the way that you both desire to love somebody else and receive love, you know it's like a match to where you don't need to like if you like doing stuff like oh, I like writing poems for my person or whatever, right? Then your person is actually someone who like likes getting poems. They're not going to be someone like, oh, this is corny, like why are you sending this to me, or you know what I mean? Or alternatively, if you are somebody who thinks that that is like cheesy, then your person is somebody who also finds that stuff cheesy, so it's like a match, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to look like the same way. I think that like the problem is that people get impatient, or they like give up, or they start to get of the mind that it will be impossible for them to meet that person. But a lot of the times it like, it doesn't look the way that you think it will look. Not necessarily that you won't be physically attracted to them, because you will be, like that's obviously a part of it, right? It's just that like the specifics and stuff like that are sort of irrelevant. And if you're in a place mentally where you care too much about the specifics, then you could like theoretically miss your person, right? Like, I don't know, if you think that you're like, oh, the love of my life uh is going to look like X, Y, and Z, right? Well, what if your person actually looks like A, B, and C, and they're actually still conventionally, like, they're still attractive, but they just don't fit that like model you had in your mind, then you may miss that person, right? Same with like, I think that some people are like, I always see that stuff about like, oh, um, it's so hard finding love in this generation. Like, the love of your life may not be in your literal generation. Like, obviously, I'm not talking about someone who's not age appropriate, but like, if you're an adult, okay, and the other person is also an adult, they may not be your exact age. And like, also, it's a thing of like where, um you know like, the person who's like actually going to be your person may, like, you know what I mean, like, it may not be the right time for you to come together. They may fully exist, but you guys may both be still going through your like character development. And I think that like you need to let go of the concept of you running out of time, I guess. Okay? Like, if you prepare yourself and are truly in alignment and in a state of mind and being where you are actually receptive to like true love, but you are aware of like, it's sort of like you work on yourself to the point where like that you would be able to like be receptive to love. Like, you prepare yourself basically. Like, how you have to sort of make yourself, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, if you want true love with somebody, right? But you know you would like snap at them if they went too long without like texting you back, or you would like, you know be too insecure if they like worked closely with somebody of the opposite gender, even if they genuinely were being faithful to you. You know what I mean? Like, say that the perfect person was going to be brought into your life, but you would like misread a bunch of like normal things as like red flags, or you would just be like hyper vigilant, then you wouldn't be, then you're just like not ready. So, but you can still be in a relationship with somebody. I do think that like energetically and spiritually, sometimes you can be misled on purpose, so that like, not misled, but like you can be misled on purpose so that you do get to develop through a relationship that isn't meant to be the end all be all. And then you could say like, oh, well, that means that love isn't real, and like, why would I be misled like that? It's because you probably needed to develop more, because you weren't in a state where you were ready to actually be with the love of your life, and you weren't like consciously aware of that. And like, the wounding and like the development and the growth happens through something that is meant for like a season, not for the end of your life. And I'm gonna say that like, you don't have to, like, if you're in your like 20s, or you're like younger than that or whatever, like, a lot of people may not even like find the true love of your life until you're like, I don't know, like 38 or something like that, which is fine. But you always have to like stay open and receptive to it happening, and like being ready and like open to the evolution of it. And obviously that can't be your main priority. It's kind of like the true love comes as a reward for like you doing all of the other inner work, basically, right? And obviously some people are, fortunate to find their person earlier on in life or whatever. It's just like the energy is giving that like people believing that love isn't real, or this and that and stuff like that, and that's not true. Again, there's a lot of people on this planet, and like, the moment you tell yourself it's not real and it's not possible for you is like the same time that it becomes impossible, because you're closed off to the possibility of it. And if it's something that is important enough to you to happen, like have in your life, like love, like real love, then you will always like the joy and bliss of true love will always be more important than like the pain of the like trials and tribulations on the path to said love. Like, that, like, love is like meant to be, you know, like a reward. It's like an angle. It's like a reward for putting in the effort and for being unconditionally like accepting of somebody's like flaws and things like that. And it sometimes takes like some inner growth to get to the point where you can genuinely love somebody unconditionally in that way.